Hello, this is Angela, the Adult Services Coordinator at the Bridgeport Public Library in Bridgeport, West Virginia. Welcome back to our BookTube channel and welcome to the first TBR video of 2022. So let's go ahead and get started. The first book I am reading, I actually don't have a physical copy of because I've been listening to the audiobook, and that is the audiobook to The Circular Staircase by Mary Roberts Rinehart. It's our pick for the Read and Read Mystery Book Club, which will be happening on January 20th. And so far, I'm actually really enjoying it. I'm nearly finished with it. It is a book that was written in 1908, so it's a bit of an Edwardian melodramatic mystery, and I love them. It's also one of the first mystery novels, if not the first, that utilizes the had I but known trope. The next book is a reread for me. This is The One and Only Ivan by Katherine Applegate. This is the pick for the brand new Bookworms Book Club that is now being run by our new children's librarian, Rebecca. So if you have not read The One and Only Ivan, it doesn't really matter how old you are, this book is fantastic. Even though it's technically a juvenile book, it definitely, in my opinion, earned its Newbery Award for a very good reason. This is a fantastic book. And if you don't know the story, it's about a gorilla that's being kept inside of a giant mall as sort of like a tourist attraction, and it's all about his story, and it's fantastic and it really pulls at your heartstrings. So the next book is Woven in Moonlight by Isabella Ibanez, and I'm actually going into this book completely blind. This is one of the books that patrons that attend Rebecca's new young adult Crossing Seas book club can read. So the way that she's running this book club, it's more of like an open format. So she picks a geographic location, and then readers are allowed to read any book that takes place in that region or is inspired by or is written by an author from that region. So this month it was South America, and Isabella Ibanez is an American author, but her family is all from Bolivia. So there was quite a bit of Bolivian influence in this book from what I can tell just from reading about it. But I am going into this one blind. I don't know anything else about it. I'm pretty intrigued. It's also a young adult book, which is a bit different for me because I don't tend to read young adult literature. So this is going to be great to start the new year with something completely fresh and different from what I usually read. Okay, and so the next book is also a reread for me. This is The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. It's the first in the Wheel in Time series, which just got an adaptation through Prime that I have not yet seen, but I'm very intrigued to see it because I really love the Wheel of Time series. This is the pick for the Reading Beyond the Shire Fantasy Book Club, and I'm really glad that this is a reread for me because, like most books in the Wheel of Time series, it is pretty thick. So I am very glad that I have already read this one because it means I can add even more books to my TBR list. This book and this series is fantastic. It really twists on the chosen one trope, and I really enjoy that because sometimes the chosen one storyline can get a little dull, but this one really twists and plays with that concept in a really neat way, in my opinion. This is just a classic in fantasy, and so if you have any interest in fantasy books, I really recommend that you read this one. And so that's it for my work reading. So the next two books are actually just books I'm reading in my free time. So the first one is called Convergence by Sharon Green. This is the first book in the Blending series, and I'm pretty interested in it. It seems to be an ensemble cast of characters that are all in charge of a different element. And so in a way, it kind of feels like an elemental D&D party just from reading the back and looking at the cover. So I'm really excited to start this one. It is a series, but it's not a super long series. It looks like there's only 5 books in it. So I should be able to get through this one pretty quick. We actually have a really great science fiction and fantasy section here at the Bridgeport Public Library. And so this one is just one of the ones I picked from that section. I want to really start delving into that section in my free time because there's a lot of books there that I haven't read yet. So I'm really looking forward to filling this whole new year with new fantasy books. And then finally, this is SpiderMan Birth of Venom. It's a collection of different graphic novels relating to Spider-Man and Venom, of course. I'm reading this one because I still can't get over Spider-Man No Way Home. I really loved that movie, and now I'm on a Spider-Man kick, so I'm reading through some of the graphic novels that I have either read before or haven't read. This one, there's a few in here that I know for sure I have read, but then there's also some that I haven't read. So it's going to be just a mix of revisiting old classics and finding something new. And that's it for my January TBR list. Let me know in the comments what you're reading, and I will see you later in the month with a different video, and then next month with a new TBR list. Bye!